Spring training's in full swing, and every team has had some players come and go. So I decided I wanted to dig into the best player every team added this offseason.
So, some ground rules. I'm only considering players acquired since the end of the season. I'm also not considering any re signings. So, guys like Aaron Nola and Cody Bellinger, who went back to their same team, they're not eligible here. And I'm using Fangraph's depth chart projections, so this is the player each team acquired who's projected the most F4 next season. Now, as of when I'm writing and recording this, which is February 27th, we've got some very good players still on the market. We've got Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, Matt Chapman, JD Martinez, and others. So those players aren't here because they don't have a team at the time I'm recording this.
Kicking things off with the Arizona Diamondbacks, we've got Eduardo Rodriguez. Erod signed a 4-year, $80 million contract with the Diamondbacks. He's coming off a really good year in Detroit. He put up a 13-9 record, a 1.34 ERA+, and 3 WAR in 26 starts. He slots in as Arizona's likely number 3 starter behind Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly, providing some much-needed depth for their rotation. For the Braves, we have Chris Sale. Sale was acquired from the Red Sox in December and signed a 2-year, $38 million extension after the trade. 2023 was his best year since COVID, as he was mostly healthy. He made 20 starts and pitched to a 6-5 record, a 1.06 ERA+, and 2.1 WAR. The big question for Sale will be, can he stay healthy? But if he does, the Braves have 3 pitchers with ace stuff in Sale, Spencer Strider, and Max Fried. For the Orioles, we have Corbin Burnes. Burnes was acquired from the Brewers in February, and he's under contract for just 2024. He's coming off a down year by his standards, but he still led the NL in WHIP, made the All-Star game, put up a 1.27 ERA+ and 3.4 WAR, and finished top 10 again in Cy Young voting. Burnes becomes the ace of the Orioles' young rotation, and they'll need him to be just as good with Kyle Bradish and John Means dealing with injuries headed into the season. For the Boston Red Sox, we have Tyler O'Neill. O'Neill was acquired from the Cardinals in December, and he's set to hit free agency after the 2024 season. He's coming off a rough year, missing over half the season with injuries and finishing under 1 WAR. O'Neill will start in the Boston outfield and should provide a solid righty bat in the middle of their lineup. If he can regain his peak form from 2021, where he won a Gold Glove and finished top 10 in MVP voting, the Red Sox will be very pleased. For the Cubs, we have Shota Imanaga. Imanaga is coming to the Cubs from Japan on a 4-year, $53 million contract. He's been one of the best pitchers in NPB for a few years now, and even threw a no-hitter in 2022. The 30-year-old southpaw will slot into the middle of the Cubs' rotation, and I'm interested to see how his pitching plays to MLB bats. He doesn't have the greatest velocity, but he had a great strikeout-to-walk ratio in NPB, which tends to translate well to MLB. But he gave up lots of homers, and at just 5'10", he's on the shorter side for a pitcher. For the White Sox, we have Michael Soroka. Soroka was acquired as part of a package from the Braves for reliever Aaron Bummer. You may remember his elite 2019 when he was an All-Star and finished second in NL Rookie of the Year voting. But since then, he's dealt with various injuries, and because of that, he only made 9 starts and pitched just 46 MLB innings since that year. The good news for Soroka is that the White Sox need every arm they can get, so he's going to get a spot in their rotation and a chance to turn his career around on the south side in 2024. For the Cincinnati Reds, we have Frankie Montas. Montas joins the Reds on a 1-year, $14 million contract. Last year with the Yankees was a lost season as he missed almost the whole year with a shoulder injury. Montas is expected to slot into the middle of Cincinnati's young rotation. And if he can come anywhere close to his 2021 numbers, when he put up a 1.22 ERA+ and finished 6th in Cy Young voting, the Reds will be very happy. For the Guardians, we've got 2 players. First up is catcher Austin Hedges. Hedges returned to Cleveland on a 1-year, $4 million contract. He's coming off a terrible year at the plate. He put up a 27 OPS+ in 81 games between the Pirates and Rangers. But he's beloved among other players, and he was part of the World Series winning Rangers team. I don't expect him to play all that much, but he should be a good mentor for young starting catcher Bo Naylor, and he's great defensively, so he can fill in a pinch if Naylor struggles or gets hurt. And tied with Hedges, we've got Estevan Florial. Florial was acquired in a trade with the Yankees in December. He barely produced at the plate in 48 MLB games with the Yanks across 4 seasons, but he grades out as a plus defender, which the Guardians clearly value in their outfield. Their starters are pretty solidified with Quan, Straw, and Laureano, so Florial isn't likely to get too much playing time. For the Colorado Rockies, we have Cal Quantrill. Quantrill was acquired from the Guardians in November, and he's coming off a terrible year in which he was barely above replacement. But the 2 seasons before that were pretty solid, so the Rockies are hoping he can regain that form. The rotation's very shallow, so he's their projected number 2 starter, and he'll get plenty of chances to figure things out in 2024. For the Detroit Tigers, we have Mark Canha. Canha was acquired in a November trade with the Brewers. He's coming off a really solid year split between the Mets and Brewers, where he put up a 108 OPS+ and 1.6 WAR in 139 games. He's expected to slot into left field and bat in the middle of the Tigers' young lineup. For the Astros, we have another tie. First up is Victor Caratini. Caratini replaces Martin Maldonado as the Astros' backup catcher for 2024. He signed a 2-year, $12 million contract in December.
He's coming off a decent year as the Brewers' backup catcher, where he put up a 95 OPS plus in 62 games, and he should be a clear upgrade over Maldonado, both at and behind the plate. And tied with Caratini, we have Josh Hader. Hader's one of the best relievers of this generation. He joins the Astros on a massive 5-year, $95 million contract to be their closer. He's coming off a really good season as the Padres closer, where he posted 33 saves and made the All-Star game, so the Astros hope he can replicate that. For the Royals, we have Seth Lugo. Lugo joins the Royals on a 3-year, $45 million contract. He's coming off a very solid season in the Padres rotation, where he put up a 1.15 ERA plus and a 1.2 WHIP in 26 starts, and he's going to slot into the middle of the Royals rotation for 2024. For the Angels, we have Robert Stevenson. Stevenson joins the Angels bullpen on a 3-year, $33 million contract. He's coming off an amazing year split between the Pirates and Rays, putting up a WHIP under .9 and a 1.38 ERA plus in 60 appearances, and he's expected to be the Angels' setup man. For the Dodgers, we have, of course, Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani, as you probably know, joins the Dodgers on the largest contract in sports history, 10 years and $700 million. He's coming off another historic season in which he won a second unanimous MVP, led the AL in home runs and on-base percentage, led MLB in OPS, and put up a 1.42 ERA plus in 132 innings on the mound. Now, Ohtani won't be pitching in 2024 as he's recovering from elbow surgery, meaning he's just a DH this year, but he still is expected to be one of the best hitters in baseball. For the Miami Marlins, we have Tim Anderson. Anderson signed a 1-year, $5 million contract with the Marlins in February. He's coming off a terrible 2023 in which he was the worst batter in MLB. He hit just one homer and put up a dreadful 60 OPS plus in 123 games. We know he can do better. He did win a batting title in 2019, and he's made 2 All-Star games. So hopefully a change of scenery will help him turn things around. And he's expected to start at shortstop for the Marlins in 2024. We have another tie for the Milwaukee Brewers. We'll start with D.L. Hall. He was acquired in February from the Orioles in the Corbin Burnes trade. He's worked mostly as a reliever across parts of 2 seasons in Baltimore, with varying success across 33 innings. But the Brewers are expected to use him as a starter, and he's likely to slot into the back of the rotation to start the season. Tied with Hall, we have Rhys Hoskins. Hoskins signed with the Brewers on a 2-year, $34 million contract after missing the entire 2023 season with a torn ACL. In his last healthy season in 2022, he hit 30 homers and put up a 123 OPS plus in 156 games. He will start at first base, and he'll likely bat cleanup, and he should be the big righty bat in the middle of the order that Milwaukee needs. For the Twins, we have Anthony DeSclafani. DeSclafani has been traded twice this offseason, moving from San Francisco to Seattle, then to Minnesota as part of the package for Jorge Polanco. He's coming off a couple of injury-riddled seasons, but he's not far removed from a really strong 2021, when he put up a 1.35 ERA plus and threw 2 complete game shutouts. He's competing in spring training for a spot in the back of the Twins' rotation with Chris Paddock and Louis Varland. And if he doesn't end up winning that competition, they'll likely use him as a long reliever. For the New York Mets, we have Sean Manaea. Manaea joins the Mets on a 2-year, $28 million contract after opting out of his deal with the Giants. His 2023 was a bit odd as he spent about half the year in the bullpen, but it was a better year than the one before, and he gets a slight raise to join the Mets rotation that desperately needs innings, especially with Kodai Senga now dealing with a shoulder injury. Manaea is going to be in competition to potentially start opening day. For the Yankees, we have Juan Soto. Soto has the best projections of any player changing teams this offseason. The Yankees acquired him in a 7-player trade with the Padres in December. He's coming off a phenomenal year where he led MLB in walks, set a career high with 35 homers, and finished 6th in the NL MVP voting. And while his defense could be better, he'll be fine manning Yankee Stadium's small right field. Soto will bat towards the top of the Yankees lineup, and the 2-3 punch of him and Aaron Judge could be the best duo in the league next year. For the Oakland A's, we have another tie. We'll start with Alex Wood, who joins the A's on a 1-year, $8.5 million contract. He's coming off an okay season split between the Giants' rotation and their bullpen. He put up a 5-5 record and a 98 ERA+. And we've also got Ross Stripling, who was acquired from the Giants in a February trade. He split 2023 between the rotation and bullpen as well, but he had a rougher year. He put up an 0-5 record and a 79 ERA+. Wood and Stripling are both expected to slot into the middle of the A's rotation, and interestingly enough, this is the 3rd separate team on which the 2 are teammates, following the Dodgers and the Giants. The Phillies only have 2 new players, utility man Whit Merrifield and pitcher Spencer Turnbull. The Fangraphs model somehow prefers Turnbull, so we'll talk about him. He's coming to Philly on a 1-year, $2 million contract, leaving the Tigers, and last year was bad for him. He missed most of the year with injury, and when he did pitch, he was not good. He put up a 5.5 FIP and a 61 ERA+. He's likely not going to have a starting role with the Phillies unless there's injuries, and he may even begin the season in AAA. But the Phillies are a pretty complete team, so the fact that they haven't added that many players in the offseason is not that surprising to me. For the Pirates, we have Martin Perez. Perez joins the Pirates on a one-year, $8 million contract. He's coming off an okay year in Texas, down from the previous season, but still serviceable, with a 10-4 record and a 100 ERA+. He's now a World Series champion, and he projects as the Pirates' number 2 starter behind ace Mitch Keller. If he can get himself closer to his All-Star performance in 2022, $8 million is a steal for what he'd provide to the Pirates. For the Padres, we have Michael King. King was acquired in December from the Yankees in the Juan Soto trade. He was one of the Yankees' better relievers the last couple seasons, but in the second half of 2023, he converted to a starter, and he was great. He put up a FIP under 2.5 and an ERA under 2 in his final 8 starts. He slots in as the Padres' number 3 starter, and he's aiming to shatter his career high in innings pitched, with a lofty goal of pitching at least 180 innings. For the Mariners, we have Jorge Polanco. Polanco was acquired in a January trade with the Twins. He missed about half of last season with injuries, but he was good in his limited time, putting up a 115 OPS plus and a 1.5 WAR in 80 games. He'll slot in as a Mariners starting second baseman, a position they've struggled to fill recently, and he should bat towards the top of their lineup. For the Giants, we have Jung-Hoo Lee. Lee joins the Giants on a 6-year, $113 million contract, leaving the KBO. In his 7 years in Korea, he was one of the best hitters there. He batted .340 in his time, and he won a Rookie of the Year and an MVP award. And he's expected to be the Giants' starter in center field and bat leadoff for them. For the St. Louis Cardinals, we have Sonny Gray. Gray signed a 3-year, $75 million contract with the Cardinals, and he's coming off probably his best season. He put up a 154 ERA+, he led MLB in FIP, and he finished second at AL Cy Young voting. The Cardinals are looking to rebound from a disappointing 2023, and Gray will be the ace of their revamped rotation and start on opening day. For the Tampa Bay Rays, we have Jose Caballero. Caballero was acquired in a January trade with the Mariners. He had a really solid rookie season with Seattle in 2023, stealing 26 bases, putting up a 90 OPS plus and 2.2 WAR in 104 games. He's going to get a shot to win the starting shortstop job with the Rays over Ahmed Rosario, and given their performances last season, I'd prefer Caballero. For the Texas Rangers, we have Tyler Mahle. Mahle signed with Texas on a 2-year, $22 million deal, and he's currently recovering from Tommy John surgery that ended his 2023 prematurely in May. He's expected to slot into the Rangers' rotation when he returns around the All-Star break, and he should provide some solid depth for their rotation. For the Blue Jays, we have Justin Turner. Turner signed with the Blue Jays on a 1-year, $13 million deal. He's coming off a solid year as Boston's DH, hitting 23 home runs and putting up a 114 OPS plus in his age 38 season. He's expected to fill the same role in Toronto, batting towards the middle of their lineup as their DH and occasional third baseman. And last but not least, for the Washington Nationals, we have Joey Gallo. Gallo joins the Nationals on a 1-year, $5 million deal. He's coming off somewhat of a rebound year with Minnesota, following a disastrous year and a half with the Yankees and Dodgers. His defense has taken a step back in the year since he won 2 outfield Gold Gloves, but he can still be a valuable player. He's expected to get playing time at first base, left field, and DH, and generally bat towards the middle of Washington's young lineup.
If you made it this far, like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments how you think your team did this offseason, and I'll see you all next time.